Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. Yep. Hi, everyone. Welcome into our weather impact alert update here on CBS 19 Plus, our live stream, our YouTube channel, and on our Facebook page. I welcome all questions that you might have about tomorrow's severe weather setup. But we're going to start off with some good news. The tornado watch is about to be dropped. The National Weather Service says it's dropping the watch shortly, so it will not make it till 10 o'clock, which was its original expiration time. So we're going to see this watch disappear, meaning the rest of the night is clear of any severe weather threat. So that is certainly good news. Get a little chance to take a big deep breath and get ready for tomorrow. You can see here on live radar, not much happening, just a few showers up to the north, over toward Gilmer and up toward the Arklatex, and those are essentially moving away. We were thinking there was potential for a couple of stronger thunderstorms to form. In fact, if you were watching at CBS 19 News at 6:30, I showed a cell that was starting to rotate as it was outside of the tornado watch. Then it moved into the tornado watch and it fell apart. Kind of unusual for a storm to do that. Right now, the temperature sits at 67 degrees. Here's a key component, the dew point at 63. So we've got some drier air as the front has pushed a little bit farther to the south. Our winds are out of the north. So look at this. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to play out for tomorrow. It could have an impact on the whole forecast, but we think overnight the stationary boundary, and stationary boundaries usually move less than 7 miles an hour. So this one may be oozing its way or easing its way back to the north in the overnight hours. In the meantime, it's 59 at Mount Pleasant. It's 58 at Sulphur Springs, 60 at Mineola. How nice is that? But it's still a soupy 75. Down at Lufkin, 76 at Nacogdoches, Hemphill at 77, and Crockett at 77, while Jacksonville's at 77. I bring that up because that, on that southern part of the front, south of the front, that's where the air is most, let's call it volatile, or more unstable versus the air that's cooler north of the front. So again, front is expected to move back to the north and become allowing the warmer, more unstable air to move over most of East Texas. All right, want to show you the storm system itself. It is a big lumbering storm system. It has been out there for 2 days already. Big upper low right here. Every time we see something like this, this is called a jet streak. So this jet streak is going to scream overhead tomorrow. And as that screams into East Texas tomorrow, or at least Central Texas, that will enhance the lift in the atmosphere, get the air rising. Here's the forecast for those upper level winds right over Central Texas into East Texas with that stationary front parked right overhead. So as those winds increase, think of it as a vacuum cleaner. So the winds aloft are really fast and they're pulling the air up like a vacuum cleaner does. So it pulls the air up, that creates rising motion in the atmosphere. And if the wind direction is changing from the surface to a higher level, well, that starts to get the winds turning. And usually they'll be turning horizontally, but then eventually vertically within a supercell or a thunderstorm, and then that's where we can get into a tornado setup. But anyway, let's move on and talk about tomorrow's severe weather outlook. Everybody's interested in this. Getting a lot of questions on a couple of posts I did on Facebook. And I do, again, welcome everyone who has joined us here, and thank you for your time tonight on our Facebook Live here on CBS 19, and to everyone who's watching on our YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys. And on our CBS 19 Plus stream. We're going to take a few minutes, just kind of talk about this. You can see the severe weather outlook. That red area, that is a moderate risk. We have not seen a risk like this since March 2nd, 2023, so more than 2 years. Typically when we see something like this, we think severe weather is likely. The thunderstorms are more widespread and intense and long-lasting. Also within this red area, and even in the enhanced area, which can get overlooked because of the moderate risk, into the orange area, we have a threat of tornadoes tomorrow. So this is a 15% chance in this enhanced area. The elevated risk is a 10% chance. What do the lines mean, that hatching area? In any chance, and here's a 10% chance within any point of 25 miles of any point within this hatched area and there's 2 color codes of seeing an EF2 to an EF5 tornado. That's really unusual for East Texas. So we typically don't see those big EF4, EF5 tornadoes. Our terrain sometimes, we just don't really have that wide open flat area like they get in the high plains. But we don't know. Tomorrow is one of those days where we have a tornado potential that is significant. It's considered significant tomorrow. I'll talk about the timeline here in just a second, okay? So that's the tornado potential. Again, that enhanced area, 15%, yellow area, 10%, anywhere in the hatched area, 10% chance of seeing a very strong tornado tomorrow. I want to show you rotation potential because, what are we talking about with rotation potential? Well, this is where we have a thunderstorm that is rotating, okay? So you have strong inflow into the storm, got a lot of rising motion above that. Tonight, the forecast was for maybe one little cell to start rotating up toward Bowie County. That has not occurred, but as we go forward in time, let me show you what is forecast to happen tomorrow, and it's very possible this could play out this way. All right, so we head into Friday afternoon about 2 or 3 o'clock, and there is a forecast, very strong rotation. Look at this, orange to yellows up here. That's as high as it gets on our scale. So this would indicate that there would be a higher than potential for a tornado than any other area. And then I look down here into parts of Houston County, southern Cherokee County, probably just south of Alto. There's another supercell that tries to get going and strengthen as it moves into southeastern Rusk and northern parts of Nacogdoches County. While yet another supercell would take shape and move from Emory up to Sulphur Springs. In a moderate risk like this isn't surprising to see. And remember, areas going as far south as Jacksonville are in that 10% chance to see a tornado. So that's 1, 2, and then you get like another supercell that could form and then move northeastward late Friday night into early Saturday morning. Once that goes away, then we have some very strong gusty winds coming in Saturday morning with the cold front itself. All right, so here is our future skycast. We'll play this out starting tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We'll have several stops along the way. There you go. That's the round that could bring us a tornado warning tomorrow afternoon. And that's going to be about 4 to 5 o'clock. In fact, let me see if I can back this up just a little bit. So we really start this at about 2:15 out towards Sulphur Springs, Emory, Canton, and Athens. And you might be able, right there, let me stop that and go back and kind of point something out. Now remember, this is a simulation of what radar could look like. But see the shape here? That would be a tornadic supercell with a hook echo. That would be a tornadic supercell with a hook echo. That could be a tornadic supercell with a hook echo. There could be one down there. So we could be talking about what we call a string of pearls. So we could have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 supercells moving south to north tomorrow afternoon as temperatures are in the upper 70s to low 80s. Again, because we've got convergence, westerly winds meeting up with south to southeasterly winds. So that's going to just create some rising or turning motion in the atmosphere. And we have that rising motion with the stronger winds aloft. So that's kind of a scary situation to look at. So just be prepared. It doesn't mean that there's going to be a tornado out of those, but certainly when you see something like that, it is something to start thinking about reviewing your severe weather plan in case we do have a tornado warning tomorrow. And then those cells move even through Smith County up to Wood County, Upshur County, and eventually into Camp and Morris County, and then they lift out at about 9 o'clock, and the threat for tornadic weather would then come to an end. All right, then I'll just keep fast forwarding this because Saturday morning we could see, this is the 1-2 punch of all this, we could have straight line winds coming in Saturday morning in excess of 60 miles an hour. The good news is by 7:30 it's over for Tyler, or you're in the heavy rain at that time. By 10 o'clock, most of East Texas is out of it. There are some thunderstorms that kind of get going back in deep East Texas Saturday afternoon around 4 o'clock in an enhanced risk. And so we could have some severe weather Saturday as late as early evening Saturday. All right, just looking to see if there's any questions on our Facebook page here. We got a lot of folks tuning in tonight and appreciate everybody who is taking time out to check out the forecast here. All right, I want to give you the wide picture. I showed this back on Wednesday, Wednesday. And it was, or Tuesday night, and it gave us a good perspective of where all the heavy thunderstorms were going to be. And on that day, they were up here across western Kentucky and Tennessee in that moderate and high risk. So here's the moderate risk tomorrow. Watch what happens. Watch these thunderstorms just explode right over our area. From Tyler up to the north into northwest Arkansas, and that's going to be through 5 o'clock. That continues all the way out to Memphis, and then Saturday morning, here comes the line of showers and thunderstorms through East Texas, moving into western Louisiana, and again, Memphis, the Arklatex getting blasted by that. And yes, that is snow in West Texas, snow in Oklahoma City, Sunday morning at 7 a.m. This is a dynamic storm system for sure. Rainfall, another part of this story here. Now down to Tyler, this has kind of changed a little bit from time to time. 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rainfall. Up toward the Red River, maybe as much as 6 inches of rainfall. That's considering today, Friday, and Saturday. So you can tell most of this is going to fall Friday and Saturday. Storm timeline then. Tonight, 7 p.m. to 6 a.m., we've got a chance for a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, but the severe weather threat is over for tonight. So that's good news, right? Friday, let's start getting ready by 2 p.m. for severe weather. And it could take until 10 p.m. to get rid of the storms. Hail and tornadoes possible tomorrow in a moderate risk. And then the line of thunderstorms Saturday from 5 a.m. till 1 p.m. Bill, thanks for watching. Brownsboro, Texas, watching. Rita, thank you for watching. Kay, thank you for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight to watch and get an update on these storms. Again, we've been doing plenty of updates to keep everybody ahead of the storms. We predicted isolated thunderstorms for Wednesday and for today, and that is the way it's played out. I think tomorrow is a little different. Tomorrow's a different setup. There's a chance to have more widespread severe weather tomorrow, and that's exactly what a moderate risk would mean. So we certainly have that, and an enhanced risk all the way down to the area around Jacksonville over toward Henderson and Shreveport. Now, even in the enhanced risk, which is supposed to be numerous severe thunderstorms, what I showed you again wasn't exactly widespread cells of tornadic cells here on the rotation potential. So even at that, you're not going to have widespread tornadoes, but you could have tornadoes that 3-4 of those would be bad. I mean, I'm just showing this once again. This is going to take us up through Friday afternoon. And any one of those little streaks that you saw there, and we just got new data in, it looks like, pushed it up a little farther to the north. So it looks like we might have updated the radar just a little bit, or it jumped forward. Let me go back here. So those bright yellow areas there to bright orange across Franklin, Titus, Red River up to Bowie County, and then that other streak here, can you see that just in southern Smith County, right in here? So there's another possible supercell that could be tracking with large hail, maybe a tornado. But 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 ongoing supercells at the same time. So it's all potential with this storm system, the way it's updating here tonight. And you can see even into the evening hours, Friday evening, we're still looking at that Palestine to Tyler to Gilmer, perhaps a long track supercell. Sherry, you're welcome. Sure. String of pearls. I don't want 5 in a row, right, Katie? No kidding. Watching from Opelika. Wayne, you're welcome for the update. Absolutely, sure. You guys, no problem. Okay, let me go to the future Skycast now. We won't have new data on this. If you've seen this, I'll repeat this for anybody who has not watched or seen this before. Tomorrow morning, we're good. We're good up till about 2 o'clock, and then we get into those clusters of showers and thunderstorms. I'll back this up just a little bit. Katie mentioned the string of pearls. It's all of those little supercells possibly popping up around 2 to 3 o'clock. There could be, and I'll go back here again and point these out for you in case you haven't seen. So 1, 2, could be 3, could be 4 cells moving south to north across the area. All of those could be rotating. Doesn't mean they're all tornadic, but rotating with some hail potential, could be tornado warned. I mean, sometimes you get tornado warned storms and they never produce a tornado, right? Just there's enough rotation within the cell itself that that prompts a warning. And that goes through 7 o'clock up till 8 o'clock Friday, and then we are in the clear from Friday's moderate risk. Then we go, I'll fast forward this, into Saturday. Don't want to sleep on Saturday. You see that moving into Emory and Canton at about 5 a.m. So those are winds that could exceed 60 miles an hour. Should be plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings along the leading edge. Maybe an embedded rotation that prompts a tornado warning. Saturday morning, though, with the temperature at 59, that's pretty cold, or cool for a tornado warning. But a line, an embedded vortex could be possible. By 9 o'clock, the strongest winds have moved into the Shreveport-Bossier area and out of East Texas. All right, so just to, let's see if we got any April. Yes, definitely worth praying about, just because, you know, again, this is a moderate risk. We haven't had one since early March of 2023, so it's been more than 2 years to have a setup like this. And of course, we would be breaking into programming on CBS19, but we'll have stream updates throughout the morning. Sarah Blue will likely do one, I think, around 8 a.m. and again at 11. And then by 3 o'clock, I would do one, but we may be into a tornado warning by then, so we'll just have to wait and see. And from there, we go through Saturday, and then we get back into the clearer weather next week. Let me just go over the timeline one more time for everybody. Again, tonight, chance for showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. I don't expect much in the way of severe weather, or I don't expect any severe weather for the rest of the night. The tornado watch, by the way, is supposed to have been dropped. Let me go back to see if that has been dropped by the Weather Service yet. Sometimes it'll take a little longer for the graphics to clear out. So officially done. So no more tornado watch tonight in East Texas. That's over. I'll go back to the radar, and you can see there's a little shower here southeast of Tyler again. So we have a chance for some showers overnight, occasional. And the temperature right now sits at 67. The interesting point here is this frontal boundary. It's 80 at Henderson, while it's 59 at Mineola. So quite the temperature difference, right? So is this front going to move back to the north? If that front moves back to the north, then that would open up the area for more severe weather, say from Mount Pleasant to Sulphur Springs. If that front remains parked there, and we really won't know until we head through the overnight hours, then we're going to focus most of the severe weather south of the front, where the air is warmer and more unstable. So the forecast has the front wobbling back to the north. And so as it wobbles back to the north, all that warm air that you can see flowing in from New Orleans and from Houston would then spread back into East Texas, and we'd start to feel that humidity again. And then we'd start to feel that ramp up of that severe weather. Bada and Jelly, good evening. What do I think will happen in Chandler? I think you're going to have a severe thunderstorm warning. You could have a tornado warning. I'll show you here in just a second. No, Katie, I don't think like you'd have 5 tornadoes, but I think there's 5 cells lined up. They don't all move over one location. Remember, they're kind of moving from south to north across the area. So you know, one could move through your area, while the next one goes a little farther east, and the next one a little farther east. So Mata was asking about Chandler. This is like 2:55, 3 o'clock. You've got that big supercell that moves overhead. One of those, perhaps in the number of 4 or 5 that comes through, and then some heavy rain in behind that by 6 o'clock. Sherry, you're welcome. Glad to be here for you guys. Appreciate everybody who's checking us out here tonight. What time is it hitting Tatum, Texas? All right, so let's go out to Tatum. Let me back that up. We'd be looking probably in the 4:30 to 5 o'clock range, with what looks like a potential heavy thunderstorm for sure. Now, is it a supercell or a cluster of thunderstorms out ahead of it that is just producing a lot of lightning and potential for some large hail? At this point, by 7 o'clock, as these thunderstorms sort of get absorbed by each other, the tornado threat will lessen. The tornado threat will be highest when these cells are sitting out here by themselves. So at about 2 to 3 o'clock, when they're sitting out here in this free air, but once they kind of all group together, that'll mitigate the tornado threat farther to the east, even though that moderate risk goes all the way kind of right in here. But if these can all kind of group together into one large thunderstorm complex by 7 o'clock, then that should start to lessen the severe weather threat. Or not the severe weather threat, but the tornado threat. I think the severe weather threat will still be there. And then the flash flood threat on top of that. All right, are there any high chances of tornadoes in Wood County? Yes, there is. Higher than what we're used to. We usually talk about tornado chances in the 2%, 5% kind of range. I mean, tomorrow is one of these days where in that pink area there, that is a 15% chance. So this is a 15% chance of having a tornado. We don't get that many forecasts that are that high of a chance. The yellow area is a 10% chance, the brown area is a 5%, the light green is a 2%. So your highest risk is in Wood County, Upshur County, Camp County, Hopkins, Franklin, Titus, Morris, Marion, parts of Harrison, up into Cass and Bowie County. Surrounding that, you've got Harrison County solidly in that yellow, so is the northern half of Rusk, all of Smith County, northern half of Cherokee, most of Henderson County, and all of Van Zant County. And these hatched lines, again, if you're just joining me, this is anywhere inside this area within, let's say you have a point right here at Tyler, anywhere within 25 miles around that point, there is a 10% chance of having a very strong tornado of at least EF2 strength. And that doesn't mean that happens in Smith County. That's the probability chance, okay? So the probability, 25%, or I'm sorry, 10% chance, 25-mile radius around that. So 15% chance of having just a tornado in that pink area, 10% chance of having a tornado in the yellow area. But then when you start talking about, let's say you get a tornado now, that the probability that it is EF2 or stronger, then it goes at 10%. So that it doesn't mean it's going to happen. We may have no tornadoes tomorrow, but the conditions are absolutely there for it. Strong upper level winds. We've got convergence at the surface. We have rich dew points, high dew points, lots of moisture in the atmosphere. And so if all that could come together perfectly, then you'd get a tornado outbreak. You'd have more than some would consider 7 as a tornado outbreak. 10 is some of the other definitions you'd say you have a tornado outbreak. We could have that many. So yes, Betsy, there is a higher than usual chance of a tornado in Wood County. All right, and then we go back. All right, so appreciate everybody kind of checking in, see if there's any other questions there. I'm gonna go back on the storm timeline again. Let me play this out one more time. This is gonna be future Skycast. I'll get another update here at about 9:15, and when I do, then I will be able to update that on CBS19 News at 10 o'clock. Remember, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, or you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Then you'll get notified when we do updates like this on our CBS19 stream. You can download on the Roku app, and then you can get the CBS19 app there, and you can just watch and stream along. Really good if you are going to your safe place, and start thinking about that tomorrow. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but just think about, like, so you get a tornado warning. Do you know where you're going? Do you have a safe place where you go? Would you go when the watch is issued? For instance, if you live in a mobile home, the suggestion is you get a watch, you go find a sturdier structure, a building that has 4 concrete walls around it, no windows if possible, and you stay there until the storm has passed. I just got a story from an acquaintance of mine who did some research at Mississippi State, and the big tornado that hit, I believe, Bay, Arkansas last night, or one of those areas, there were no fatalities because they had adequate sheltering all around the county, and folks went to the shelters and packed those out because they had advance warning, and that was a moderate to high risk environment there. So tomorrow, think about that. Future Skycast at 7 o'clock. Again, those are clustering up at that time, and then they move on out, and then we have the Saturday morning. For anyone who's just joining us, thank you for watching our CBS 19 Facebook page, our stream here on the YouTube channel, and on CBS 19 Plus. All right, so I'm going to... Bruce, come on. That's not fair. Y'all's weather predictions have been... Bruce, do you know? So Wednesday, I called for isolated severe weather for Wednesday and today, and that is what we've had. I did not. I don't know if anybody else has said widespread severe weather. That is not what we did here at CBS 19. So maybe your buddy's a really good golfer. Maybe that's what. Maybe you were paying me a compliment. So thank you. Your buddy's a scratch golfer, and that's how you find our forecast. That's awesome. Thanks, Bruce. All right. You have to remember too that when there's outlooks like this, so if it's a marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, we're giving you the conditions, what you could possibly see. To actually be what I think as brazen as I was saying isolated thunderstorms, severe thunderstorm chances Wednesday and Thursday, I think that's really going out on a limb. So it's kind of, let's see how tomorrow plays out. You're only as good as your last forecast, right? There was a couple of cells that should have been rotating tonight. They have not. We go into Friday. This updated here this evening. So this is a little bit different, and the timing's off a little bit, but essentially the same thought. Long track supercell moving out of Wood County across Franklin, Titus, Morris County up through Bowie County, with additional possible rotating supercells into Smith County. Southern Cherokee County also still shows up there, into Rusk County up through Harrison County, and then up into southwestern parts. And then that one, that was, so let me go back on that, because we have a strong cold front that's coming through here, and there's a chance within that cold front of having some rotation within the line of the thunderstorm. So I know we're talking a lot about tomorrow, and I don't want to sleep on Saturday morning, but there's a chance that as we have that front coming through Saturday morning, that that you get a little lobe or vortex that'll spin along the cold front, and so that's what that is indicating. That doesn't mean that it's right there in Mineola or Gilmer, but it does show us that there's potential for some rotation within the cold front as it's coming through Saturday morning. By the way, control room, we can drop the crawl because the watch is over, so we can give everybody kind of a better feeling as they get ready for the evening. All right, so that's the rotation potential for Saturday. Let me just recap one more time here and go over what we have for tomorrow. Again, it's a moderate risk of severe weather. Haven't had one of these since March 2nd, 2023. And the tornado potential tomorrow is on the higher end for what we see, 10 to 15%, 10% in the yellow, 15% in the pink. And the timeline, I'll give you this before we go. I appreciate everybody. You can still ask those questions if you want. I'm going to say Friday. I think we're good tonight. Friday, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. for hail and tornadoes. Saturday, 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. with that line of thunderstorms coming through. Appreciate you all checking in with us. We've got some things to record before 10 o'clock. Make sure you tune in tonight at CBS 19 News at 10 for the latest forecast, and we will be back tomorrow morning with another stream. But have a safe night, everyone. Thank you for watching.